Today we're going to talk about an amazing center back. Fabrício Bruno is the player of the day. Do you enjoy learning about the luxurious lives of football stars? Then, subscribe to the channel to discover the lives of these athletes. Let's get started. Fabrício Bruno was born in Ibarite, a city in Minas Gerais. Since he was a child, he loved playing football and started training at a local football school. Later, he played for two smaller teams, Comercial de Barreiro and Desportivo Minas. However, the big step came in June 2013 when he finally joined Cruzeiro. He was always a leader in the youth teams. In 2016, he was the captain of Cruzeiro in the Copa São Paulo de Futebol Júnior and performed really well, even though the team was eliminated in the quarterfinals after losing 2-0 to Vitória. His great performance caught the attention of Coach David, and that was it. He began training with the first team, renewed his contract until 2019, and was promoted in February of that year. Fabrício's first match with the first team was on April 10th against Boa Esporte. Cruzeiro won 3-2, and since Coach David gave the regular starters a break, the substitutes had the opportunity to prove themselves. His first career goal was special. It happened on June 29th in a match against Chapecoense in the Brasileiro. Fabrício scored the equalizer, making it 2-2, but in the final moments, Chapecoense scored again and won 3-2. And his first start was against Flamengo. At the end of that year, Cruzeiro loaned Fabrício to Chapecoense until December 2017. The interesting part is that, even while on loan, Cruzeiro renewed his contract for another year. During his first spell with Chapecoense, Fabrício played only 8 matches and scored 1 goal for Cruzeiro. Fabrício Bruno was presented at Chapecoense on January 19th. Right in his first year, he showed his potential. On August 20th, he scored his first goal for the team in style, a 2-0 victory against Palmeiras away from home. He was a starter in almost every match and played 40 games in his first season. The following year, Fabrício started strong again. On February 19th, he scored his second goal, this time in a 2-0 victory against Avaí in the Campeonato Catarinense. He suffered from a pubalgia injury, a very painful condition in the hip and groin region, and was sidelined for 7 months. For a player, it felt like time stood still. Before returning to the first team, Fabrício played 2 matches for the U-23 team in the Campeonato Brasileiro de Aspirantes, facing Internacional and Santos. It was like a warm-up to get back into rhythm. By the end of the season, he was back with a vengeance. He regained his starting position and played really well, forming a solid center-back duo with Douglas Grally. He played 16 matches after his return and showed that he was ready for more challenges. On January 4th, Chapecoense announced that Fabrício would stay for another year on loan, beginning his 3rd season with the club. Then came another twist. Cruzeiro, which held his rights, requested his return on January 13th because the center-back mantle had left for Corinthians. This opened up a spot, and Fabrício Bruno returned to the Minas Gerais team. In total, Fabrício played 58 matches and scored 2 goals for Chapecoense. He returned to Cruzeiro against Boa Esporte in the Campeonato Mineiro and then against Huracan in the Libertadores. His first start back was on March 10th when Cruzeiro won 3-0 against Tumbes. In that match, Coach Mano Menezes decided to use substitutes, and Fabrício took advantage of the opportunity. From there, he gradually earned a permanent spot, and by the second half of the season, he was firmly established as a starter. He played 26 matches and performed so well that 2 foreign clubs, Braga and Celtic, took an interest in him. However, Cruzeiro refused to sell him and rejected the offers. But then, toward the end of his time at the club, a complicated situation arose. I'll explain that part at the end of the video, so stay tuned. On January 20th, 2020, Fabrício Bruno was announced as the new player for Red Bull Bragantino. He made his debut on February 15th, immediately helping the team win 3-0 against Oeste in the Campeonato Paulista. After a lot of hard work, a special day came. On August 4th, Fabrício completed 100 professional games, and they won 1-0 against Guarani in the final of the Campeonato Paulista do Interior. This was his first title with Bragantino. A few months later, on January 6, 2021, he scored his first goal for the club. It was in a 4-2 victory over Sao Paulo in the Campeonato Brasileiro. Fabrício was playing so well that teams from Italy and Portugal started to keep an eye on him. Bragantino reached the Copa Sul-Americana for the first time in its history after 25 years without participating in international competitions. Fabrício was one of the team's key players. On May 11th, he scored an important goal in the 2-0 victory over Emelec in the group stage of the Sul-Americana. 2 months later, on July 14th, he scored again in a 2-0 win against Independiente del Valle in the tournament's round of 16. On July 18th, Fabrício played his 50th game for Bragantino in a 2-2 draw against Santos in the Brasileiro. He was the team's leader in interceptions and accurate passes, and also ranked among the best defenders in the league in statistics like long passes and duels won. Bragantino made it to the final of the Copa Sul-Americana, but lost 1-0 to Atlético Paranaense. Still, Fabrício shone and was included in the tournament's best 11, alongside his teammates Leo Ortiz and Artur. In the Brasileiro, Fabrício helped Bragantino achieve something unprecedented: a spot in the Copa Libertadores. He finished the season as one of the team's best players, with 57 appearances, 2 goals, and 1 assist. In 2022, he played only 4 games in the Campeonato Paulista before leaving the club. In total, Fabrício Bruno played 82 games for Bragantino and scored 3 goals. He was announced as a Flamengo player on February 9, 2022, signing a contract until 2025 and choosing shirt number 15. 4 days later, on February 13th, he made his debut with a huge 5-0 victory over Nova Iguaçu in the Campeonato Carioca. He played exceptionally well and received lots of praise. Fabrício quickly became a regular starter, playing 8 consecutive games in the starting lineup. But then came a scare. In the first leg of the Carioca final against Fluminense on March 30th, he got injured and had to leave the field. Flamengo conceded 2 goals after his departure. Before the injury, Fabrício had impressive stats: 18 tackles, 333 successful passes, and only 8 fouls committed, without receiving a single yellow card. In the second leg of the final, on April 2nd, Fabrício was supposed to start, but felt pain before the match and was cut from the squad. He would only return to play 4 months later, in a 1-0 loss to Corinthians in the Brasileiro. In the Brasileiro, he provided an important assist for the winning goal against Atlético Mineiro and, by the end of the year, won his first title with Flamengo, the Copa do Brasil, defeating Corinthians in a thrilling penalty shootout that ended 6-5. Even though he finished the season as a reserve, he played great alongside Pablo, appearing in 28 matches and scoring 2 goals. In 2023, Fabrício was simply the team's standout player. Despite a difficult year with few titles, he played in 64 out of Flamengo's 76 matches. Besides performing excellently, he was selected for the Campeonato Carioca and Copa do Brasil Best 11. With his success in 2023, other clubs started eyeing Fabrício, but Flamengo quickly renewed his contract until 2028 on January 31st. On February 25th, he reached 100 games for Flamengo in a 2-0 victory over Fluminense. Before the match against Madureira on March 2nd, Fabrício received a commemorative plaque for his 100 games. However, during the game, he took a blow to the face and had to leave at halftime. Still, Flamengo won 3-0 and became champions of the Taça Guanabara. At the end of May, the English club West Ham made a huge offer for him: 15 million euros, around 83 million reais. Flamengo's management liked the offer, but Fabrício decided to stay at Flamengo, citing personal reasons. He preferred to continue defending Mingau. Today, as Flamengo's center back, he earns a substantial salary: 700,000 reais per month. Flamengo gave him a significant raise. In addition to Flamengo's salary, Fabrício also has a contract with Adidas, providing him with extra income. On Instagram, Fabrício has over 1 million followers, where he shares his best moments on the field and cute family photos. The star is married to Ana Clara, a beautiful dentist who often shares loving photos with her husband. The couple has a son named Luca. Although more discreet on social media, Fabrício enjoys life outside of football. During vacations, he travels with his family to incredible places like Disney and Miami. He also enjoys boat trips along the coast of Rio. Ana Clara, whenever possible, is at the stadium cheering for her husband and showing her love for Flamengo. The player lives in an amazing house in Barra de Tijuca, Rio de Janeiro, in a gated community. It has a huge swimming pool with a perfect gourmet area for barbecues with friends. The interior of the house is super chic and modern, with beautiful furniture in light and earthy tones. The floor is made of shiny white marble, and the staircase is lit with LED lights, giving it a special touch. The kitchen looks like something straight out of a TV show, with the most modern equipment. If a professional chef stepped in, they would feel like they were in paradise. As for the couple's bedroom, it's enormous, bigger than many apartments out there. In the bathroom, it looks like a luxurious spa, with everything designed for ultimate comfort. This wonderful house, where the player lives with his family, is worth around 7 million reais. Its location is one of the most sought after in Rio de Janeiro. The defender is a huge fan of Audi cars. In addition to dominating the field, he loves cruising through the streets of Rio de Janeiro in his amazing cars. In his garage, he has an Audi A3, which costs 284,990 Brazilian reals, and it's packed with technology and sophistication. The car is strong and powerful, with leather seats and luxurious finishes. And it doesn't stop there. He also owns an Audi Q3, valued at 296,990 Brazilian reals. This compact SUV is bold and makes you want to enjoy life without rushing. Despite being a calm player, Fabrício Bruno has had his fair share of controversies throughout his career. In 2018, he was playing very well for Chapecoense and had secured his spot as a regular starter. Unfortunately, he suffered an injury that kept him off the field for over 6 months. The injury was called osteitis pubis, which prevented him from playing for quite some time. To recover, he had to undergo stem cell treatment. When Fabrício finally returned to the field, he didn't get to play many matches. Even so, Chapecoense decided to renew his contract, but Cruzeiro asked to bring the player back. That's how Fabrício returned to Cruzeiro, but his time at the club wasn't smooth. The team was going through a major financial crisis and couldn't pay the players' salaries. Fabrício didn't receive what was owed to him, so he decided to take legal action, requesting the payment of overdue salaries, image rights, and FGTS. Cruzeiro couldn't sell the player to another team, and Fabrício was left not knowing what to do. He even tried to seek help from the courts, but was unsuccessful. After much negotiation, he and Cruzeiro reached an agreement. Fabrício agreed to forgive the debt, but in exchange, his contract was terminated. Soon after, the defender moved to Red Bull Bragantino, where he continued his career. Did you enjoy learning a bit about this center back's life? Now, watch the video appearing on your screen. I'll be waiting for you there.